All right, everyone. Now we have to talk about Donald Trump and regime change in Iran. There are some commentators that are saying Trump is going to go to war. He's going to go in dry. Bombs will be falling, missiles will be flying, and so will airplanes and so forth. I am on the side of peace in this particular predicament for obvious reasons. I don't want a bunch of Americans to potentially die attacking a country that hasn't materially affected us in any meaningful way in recent times. I don't think that it's helpful. I don't think that it's proper. I don't think that it's ethical. It's definitely not economical and pretty much makes no sense. Also, Israel seems to be fending for itself anyway. We're already funding them to begin with. If that's the case, if they're almost unimpeachable in their military capabilities, despite the massive amount of manpower differential, then we don't really need to get involved now, do we? One thing I would say is that meeting the Iranians head to head at sea, because they have at times harassed our shipping vessels, that's acceptable. That's one of the first things that our country actually engaged in, which was anti-piracy and privateering activities. Um, it's ironic the way that I'm dressed, I suppose, at the moment. That was one of the first things that we did. You look at Tripoli and some of these other things. That was basically the first major confrontation that our newly born nation had. But do we really need to stage an air invasion of Iran? You know, some legacy media has been talking about dropping bunker busters and Moabs and things like that. I don't really think that that's necessary. I think Israel can defend itself. It's been beefed up. It's basically like a David and Goliath scenario, only this time David has been shooting steroids for the last few decades. I don't think that it'll be a problem. Iran does not have the capability of hitting the United States. It has the capability of harassing its vessels, of course, but beyond that, really, there's no disruption. Israel is doing just fine, it seems. So I do not believe in going in there. Now, as to the question of whether Donald Trump is inclined to go in, his words and his actions both show he is reluctant, which is very, very good for the United States. He should be reluctant. He's been reluctant for years and years and very, very consistent with regards to his message, which is that while he supports Israel and while he opposes the Iranian regime, which is in shambles anyway at this point, and it appears that order has more or less broken down at certain rungs of their government, that he's not interested in a further conflict. That is, he's more interested in de-escalation. This is the appropriate way forward. It's perfectly fine for the United States to pick a side within a given battle or war. It's another thing entirely to ask Americans to die for a foreign country, unless that country is a very close ally. Now I know what you'll say. Well, yeah, Sticks, but the neocons say that that's our greatest ally. No, they're not. It's a landing strip. It's basically a landing point to allow us to invade the rest of the Levant and Middle Eastern region more than anything else. Our greatest ally is the British, actually, more than anything else. Any of the Five Eyes countries, members of NATO, the Latin American alliance, our Eastern Asian allies, and so forth, those are our main allies. We've got one particular ally in the Middle East that is sort of a holdover from a prior era. As I observed earlier, I believe it's mostly about energy more than anything else. And I did that on a new tech exclusive. So again, I have to mince my words a little bit here, but really the reason that we have such a heavy presence in Israel is mostly about pipelines and oil and things like that. It's pure economics. The politicians can go to the Wailing Wall, put on the little hat, and pretend to pray. Most of them don't give a shit. What they do pray to is the Benji Green. That's really what's happening here. That's just a foil for religious voters more than anything else. I do not believe in going to war with Iran. I do not believe in getting further involved in the region. Israel can fend for itself, and if it can't fend for itself, well, then that's that, I suppose. They did haul off and attack another sovereign nation without a deliberate, explicit provocation. They were provoked by Hamas, absolutely, of course they were. And so the rather disproportionate response there is more understandable. As far as Iran goes, though, the provocation appears to, on paper, be, well, they were trying to build a nuke. Well, why the hell should I care if they build a nuclear weapon? It means nothing to me. What are they going to do? Build a B-52 bomber and fly it all the way to the eastern seaboard of the United States? I don't think that's going to work very well. So I think that Trump is trying to find that sort of tone where we don't end up with a war breaking out with Iran, but at the same time, there are repercussions for actions. Trump has also warned the Israelis before not to attack the Iranians. I would be surprised if Trump didn't also warn Netanyahu, call him up on the phone and say, cut it out. The hell are you doing? You're making peace negotiations very, very difficult. Now Iran is warning of an unprecedented action against its enemies. Well, we'll see exactly what happens. I suppose overnight it could happen literally while I'm making this video, I suppose. We're hoping that cooler heads prevail. That's about all. Peace out.